I was told by so I had an attorney, but it wasn't really my attorney. It was Tactical Firearms attorney, which I was the CEO, so it was kind of my attorney. When they said it was no longer my company, she sent me an email, and she said, this is everything they want, which is the keys to the business, the passwords, the keys to the car, so on and so forth. I complied with everything. The problem I had is one of the items said the username and password to the Tactical Firearms Facebook account. And I called her and said, there is no username and password to a Tactical Firearms Facebook account. You need to explain to the judge that this account is mine. And she said, well, we don't represent you. And I said, well, that's fine. Don't represent me, but just tell the judge on behalf of the debtor that what they are asking for is not part of the assets of Tactical Firearms. It's Jeremy Alcede's personal. From that point, somebody should have called me because I didn't hear anything after that, so I thought everything was fine. So, yes, I was told that they were looking for it back on the 5th, but I wasn't told that there wasn't clarification whenever I iterated, my thoughts, and my thoughts will be, made true here in the next, I guess, couple of weeks. We have a hearing tomorrow morning at 10:30 to continue discussions on this, and then I think there's a break until the first of the year, and then there'll probably be one more hearing, and I just don't see how the judge can take my identity and give it to him. I'm fairly certain that I'll be able to keep my Facebook account.
It's interesting, and I think there's some people that would say to you, that ignorance doesn't exonerate someone, that just because you say you didn't know or that you should have made every effort to try and do that. Here's what bothers me, and that can be between you and the judge. It doesn't matter to me. But what concerns me is they arrest you. Were you placed under arrest? Were you Mirandized?
No. In contempt, it was not a criminal arrest. This is a civil contempt of court. So it's not even...
They used 14 guys to make an arrest where you're not Mirandized, and then you're shackled to a chair for how long? This is the part. The whole issue of he said, she said, and all that is between you and the court. But this process of you being arrested, this is what bothers me. So you're shackled to the chair for how long?
I was actually in shackles in their holding cell, what they call it. It's not really a holding cell, but in a secure room with no facilities for, I guess, from about 11 until about 6:30 p.m. And during the time, nobody came in to see if I needed anything. And unfortunately, I had to relieve myself, and there was no other place to do it but just right there in that room. If you're going to hold people in contempt, you need to have...
Was there a toilet in there?
No toilet.
What do you mean? You're peeing on the floor?
Well, I didn't want to pee where I was sitting, so I had to get up on the stool and pee through the grate into the other side where the attorney would be interviewing me.
You gotta be kidding me, man.
No, I wish I was, Matt. I swear. I mean, everything that I'm telling you is God's honest truth. Think that I didn't know about the arrest warrant. I did know about the order, but it wasn't a signed order. This is what I knew they were asking for, and whenever I called the attorney that was representing the company, I thought it was all said and done. Nobody called me after and said, there's an order, the judge wants to see you. I got first news of that when I was arrested.
I'm still at the point where you're being held for hours without being Mirandized, in shackles. You got nowhere to pee.
It was even worse. I wasn't supposed to see the judge until an hour from now, 3:30 today. And I started raising 9 kinds of hell, banging on the thing and, making all kinds of noise saying, you're taking away my First, Fourth, and Sixth Amendment rights right now, and I demand to see the judge. And, I told him, I said, the judge doesn't see me. I'm going to raise 9 kinds of hell when this is done because I've been detained without rightful cause because I
got to take another heartbreak. Can you hang on one more?
Sure, yeah.
And we'll wrap it up. All right, Jeremy Alcede joining us. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. I'll let him finish up here, and then we'll take some of your phone calls. So bad. All right, it's the Matt Patrick Show. You're in the box. Be back. We're glad that you're with us. The Matt Patrick Show. We call it the Sandbox. I have heard some bizarre stories in my time. This one ranks right up there. We've been joined this hour by Jeremy Alcede, a former owner of Tactical Firearms. who was arrested less than 24 hours ago by federal agents, Fort Bend County Sheriff's deputies, and it is all based upon an alleged contempt of court for not turning over passwords for Facebook pages. And Jeremy is still with us. I just wanted to make sure that we had time to say goodbye to each other here. It just seems like there should be more to this story. You know what I mean? I mean, there's got to be people that are sitting there going, wait a minute, this just doesn't add up. I mean, the court said, but you said, all of that notwithstanding, the way that you were arrested, 14 different agents pulling you over at gunpoint, and then being forced to sit in a room for hours on end, shackled to a chair, and having to pee through a grate, it doesn't make sense to me. The way that this is I mean, obviously, I'm going to talk to somebody in Fort Bend County, or talk to the people that I know that are feds. Is there anything else you're leaving out here? Because this sounds so bizarre to me, man.
I hear you. It was like a nightmare, living a nightmare. It's the thing is, when you're held in contempt of court, it's not a criminal charge, so you're not processed. There's no arrest record. They put you in their local system for liability in case there's a fire or whatnot. So they knew that I was there, but there was no official record of me being there. I was not Mirandized, and because of that, typically being law enforcement, they put you in a jury room or something. But because of the policies and procedures, from what they explained to me, that they have there at the cell block upstairs in the courthouse, there is no separate facility or separate holding cell with a bathroom and everything for people that are held in contempt, which I think needs to be changed. If you're going to hold someone in contempt and keep them there for more than a couple hours, you need to give them a facility to use, or a comfortable chair, or something bigger than a 4x4 room to sit in, all day long while you're waiting.
And this is in Rosenberg, right? With the federal building in Rosenberg. Is that what we're talking?
No, this is downtown off of Smith.
Oh, okay. So you're in Harris County. So you've gone from Fort Bend County to Harris County, then, right?
Yeah, Fort Bend County is where I was actually arrested, but they transported me to the federal courthouse, which is in. So Harris County Sheriff's Office is the one that actually houses or runs that facility up there. I think with a contractor too. I saw some other uniform that wasn't law enforcement.
Do you think that there was that somebody had some kind of axe to grind against you for your outspokenness against the president? I mean, Garcia is an avowed Democrat. I mean, did you get any of that? Did people say, "Hey, look, man, we're really sorry. We're just following procedure. Sorry you had to pee through the grate." I mean, anything like that?
Well, that's what they said. They said, "We're sorry, but it's policy. What we're doing is, what we have to follow." The whole thing to silence me just won't happen. John Boyert, who is the new owner of Tactical Firearms with Co., he owns Boyert Shooting Center off of Westheimer. They do not want me to come forward with the truth because it's going to hurt their business, and they know that. So they're doing everything they can to silence me. And, I'm just upset that someone didn't reach out and call me. I mean, I know that telephones are relatively new to technology, and not many people have phones and whatnot, but all they had to do was look for my number, It blew my mind. It really did. There's obviously, this doesn't happen a lot, and so I don't think there's clear policies and procedures of what to do for someone that's held in contempt of court, which needs to be changed.
We'll obviously be getting a few phone calls, I would assume. But look, I'm glad you're okay, and regardless of how this ends up, and there's always, two sides or three sides to every story, but I'm glad that you came on. I was very concerned about you this morning when I read about it, because I do consider you a friend,
Same here, brother.
As this goes forward. So I appreciate you coming on and talking with us, and let's keep in touch. And if you
stay tuned to our new business. Yeah, we're working on plans.
All right, and if you should change your number, let me know, would you please?
Yes, sir, I will.
Jeremy, thank you for your time. I sure appreciate it. God bless. Merry Christmas to you, man.
You too, brother. Thank you.
All right, Jeremy Olson. Man, that is one bizarre story. Now, three sides. His side, the Fed side, and the truth. And, and as I told Jeremy, and I've had, we've had some I'll tell you what I like about Jeremy Olson. Is I've said this to him, I said, come on, Jeremy. I mean, I talk to you and you try to sound completely, blameless. And I'll say, no, I'm not blameless. I made mistakes. There's things that I did. I didn't do didn't do this, but I may have done this. So, whether or not it is up to the court to call him before he was arrested, I don't. That's not typically, I think, what is done. But should he have known that he was on borrowed time as far as not providing the password for Facebook? This is the other thing that just blows my mind. So we're going to spend this much time and money and assets because a guy hasn't turned over passwords to a Facebook account? Look, I understand there's things, there are procedures that need to be followed. It's also another example that it seems to me that if, when you're, I can only imagine what would have happened if this was somebody else and they would scream racism or, they only did this because I was a Hispanic or I was black or whatever the case may be. So, it happens. The question is, should it happen that way? It'll be interesting going forward to see how this all shakes out. But a lot of you reached out to me late last night and early this morning and wanted to know and knew that I knew Jeremy very well and wanted us to get to the bottom of it. And again, I appreciate Jeremy coming on, and we'll keep our eye on the story. If there is anybody that maybe has more information, I know a lot of people in Fort Bend County, in the Fort Bend County Sheriff's Department, Harris County Sheriff's Department. You can shed any light on it. I'd love to hear. You can email me, mattpatrick@iheart.com, just between you and me, or you can call the show.